Thank you, Dr. Orban. I recently had occasion to stop by Dr. Khan's office, and while I was waiting for him to come out of the exam room, I was sitting actually in his personal office, and it was obvious to me how important his 3 kids were to him. There were the usual pictures, that you see that adorn every office and workspace, but what got my attention was that there was a stack of newspaper clippings that talked about the Khan kid participation in soccer and in track and in the prom court. So I'm excited to invite Akil and Azam and Hiba to the stage and to tell us a little bit about their dad as a part of our program today.
On behalf of my family, I would like to thank you all so much for coming tonight, and a special thanks to KSB for organizing this event. It means a lot to us, and it shows how loved my father was. If you didn't get a chance to know my dad, you missed out on knowing an amazing man. Not only was he a great doctor, brother, and friend to many, but he was the world's best father. He taught my brothers and me so many lessons that I know we will carry on in life each and every day. It hurts my heart to know he won't be sitting there at all the important events in the future, especially being able to have him walk me down the aisle at my wedding or share a father-daughter dance. But I know that he will always be looking down on me. No matter what, my dad always stayed positive in life. I must admit I was a royal brat to him sometimes, but he could never stay mad at me only because I was his little princess. I saw my dad earlier that week in his clinic because I wasn't well. While I was waiting for him, I could overhear how polite and gentle he was to his patients. Then he walks in to see me, and what do I get? A father, but not the Dr. Khan. The ever-patient doctor was not present in the room at that time, but a dad who was seeing me between patients. I got the TLC minus the T. Instead, I got a, hold your foot up longer, man. Why are you being so difficult? And my response was, why are you being mean to me and not like how you were 10 seconds ago with the other patient? But that was my dad. He was thorough and always got the job done. I spoke to my dad Thursday night, the night before it happened, and the last words he said to me was, I love you, baby girl. I can't remember a single phone call or goodbye we had where he didn't say those words to me. Words cannot describe how much I will miss him, but I know that I'll always be his little girl, and he'll always be with me every moment from now until forever. No one will ever take his place in my life, and it comforts me to know that I will see him again someday.
When my mom approached me 2 weeks ago about speaking at today's memorial, I'll be honest, it seemed like a way better idea back then than it does right now. Looking out into the crowd, it's clear to see how many lives my dad touched. While this is an extremely unfortunate reason for all of us to gather here, life sometimes works in cool ways. Just last week, my great-uncle told me, if you want to make God laugh, tell your plans. On May 4th, my dad's original plans were to go spend the weekend in the city, but I'm assuming when he got off work that day, he saw how beautiful the weather was and changed his plans and decided to go boating. We all know the series of events that followed after this change of plans. I guess the point I'm trying to get at here is that even though my dad changed his plans at the last minute and decided to go boating, this was God's original plan the entire time. And while it doesn't make sense that he could take such a wonderful doctor, a caring friend, and a loving brother, and arguably the world's greatest father from us so suddenly, we must deal with the result and move on. To be honest though, I will never move on. For those of you who don't know, my dad and I were very close. Our relationship was that similar to best friends than father-son. I could talk to him about anything, things that other kids would feel uncomfortable talking to their dad about. When I spent the majority of the summer with him last year, he called me his roommate. Story on the roommate, when my dad moved me into college freshman year, I knew what my roommate looked like, and I pointed him out from afar. I said, Dad, that's my roommate over there. And he goes, he got this grin on his face. He's about to do something sinister, and he said, follow my lead, Akil. So we go up, and he goes to my roommate, and he goes, hi, I'm Akil Khan, how you doing? I'm your roommate. This is my dad, Rifaqat, points at me. The look on my roommate's face, he was really confused. When I talked to him later on, he's like, yeah, I was about to go request a roommate change. Something wasn't right. We would always watch a movie together all night. We'd go boating, and he always loved cooking food, like everybody said. said, especially for all my friends. When I had buddies over to watch a game or play cards, my dad was always run out, go to the store, and he'd buy steaks and burgers and cook us all dinner. He loved doing that. His only stipulation was that we let him do the dishes, which none of us ever complained. And if we were playing cards that night, the house gets 15%. And just a side note, so my mom can rest easy tonight, Mom, we never ever played for money, I promise. We bet Skittles and M&Ms. Now, it might seem like it was all fun and games with my dad, but my brother and my sister and I, we all had to pull our fair share of work. He had a very simple rule. It was bring home good grades and he'll let you live an extra year. Education was paramount to Dad. When we talked on the phone, he would make sure I was studying hard, doing well on my exams, and most importantly, not skipping class. One of the last texts my dad sent me before he passed away was, "Work hard now, son, and it will pay off good later." That's the exact wording. And keep in mind, this is one of the longest texts my dad has ever sent. So he really meant it if he went through that much trouble. He would always ask me if I would take him on vacations when he got older, buy him his favorite car, and if I would let him live with me down the road. I told him I would, and I meant it, but with the blink of an eye, he's gone, and all we have left are memories. My dad was so full of life, and considering he probably just went through his midlife crisis with the new jet boat, and the new car, and the new condo, he still had many years ahead of him. It makes me so sad to think about how my dad won't get to see my brother or my sister graduate high school, be there to take photos of me graduating college. He won't be present at any of our weddings, and he never got the chance to become a grandfather and hold his grandchildren. People will try to comfort us by saying he's still watching you and he's very proud, but it's not the same thing. The only comfort I have is that my dad lived a very happy life, and while he had many more years ahead of him and so much more to offer to everyone around him, the big guy upstairs had different plans. You could just tell by the look in his eyes that he was really enjoying life, and I know he lived it to the fullest, even till the last minute. Not a day has gone by where I haven't talked to my dad or heard his voice in the back of my head, and even though he may not be physically present, he is present in our thoughts and in our hearts, and we will keep him and his legacy alive that way. I want to thank each and every one of you for coming out tonight. I never realized how much of a popular guy he was. I want to say thank you to my very talented cousin Saba for recording this entire service and helping me to get together all the photos for the slideshow and the tribute video. All those years of film school are paying off, so tuition dollars aren't down the waste. Very special thanks to KSB Hospital and the entire KSB family for arranging this special evening. I cannot begin to express how grateful I am for everything they have done to make sure my family is comfortable and taken care of. From the day of the accident to right now, they have not stopped in making sure all our needs are catered to, and they have bent over backwards to make sure we are at ease. Finally, a massive thank you to the entire Dixon community and our extended friends and family from other towns for coming together and surrounding my family with love, care, and compassion. From complete strangers going out of the way to help in any way possible, to the simple, kind words from people I've never met, this town has given me a reason to hold my head high and proudly state that yes, I am Dr. Khan's son. And while everyone goes up to tell me how proud my dad was of us 3 kids, they have no idea how proud we are of our dad and the things he accomplished in a short but well-lived life. Thank you.
Let me tell you a little bit, when KSB has a long-serving physician that leads us, one of our traditions has been to have a commission a portrait of that individual that hangs in its place, in a prominent place in our organization. And Michelle Carter with working with Dave Schreiner, working with lightning speed to get this completed for us today. And since the kind of kids, who lack a better term, are standing here with me now, I'd like to invite them to unveil that for the first time. Just kind of.